Hi, welcome to CAPSULE, the career support for young women unlocking entrepreneurial spirit. This is an European Union funded program by Impact Hub Bucharest, Zagreb, Budapest and Career Shift. I am Mihai Zânt and I'm the co-founder of Career Shift. I'm an executive coach and an entrepreneur and international trainer. While I have tried multiple businesses, the ones that really worked for me are those in education because they bring me more meaning and grit, and actually they keep me on track with what I want to achieve in life and have impact. I will tell you more about the program and how we got here, but not before giving you a little bit of context. In Career Shift, we have multiple programs in which we work with professionals. We have Career Booster, where we do a learning journey for professionals that want to shift their careers and industries and lead themselves better through those careers. And we also have a coaching school and we do individual coaching. After working with hundreds of people directly, what we have observed is that the single most important and sustainable thing to do, it's actually help people lead themselves better. And a lot of our professionals actually dream to be entrepreneurs. But they expect entrepreneurship to come like the holy grail, with freedom, with autonomy, with money, with everything that they want. And what it actually brings, it may be more working hours, more stress, more pressure. And sooner or later, every entrepreneur realizes that they need to lead yourself. So this program, it's coined in that sense. What's different about it is that we have a self-leadership program, both self-paced and also in residentials. I will present it broadly. That will help you to know yourself better and lead yourself better. Now let me tell you a bit about the team that's behind the course and that you will also meet in the residential weekends and along the coaching journeys. This is Cătălina Dabija, Lucia Radu, Cezara Boangiu, Alina Costescu, and Adina Mitroi. 5 beautiful and wise women with broad experience in training and coaching that we're working with in our programs and that you will see along the self-leadership course and the residential weekends and in the coaching journeys. We'll have at your disposal a lot more experts and we'll find out soon how you can access them. I'm here just for the prerequisite, that is to set the stage for what will follow and where my colleagues will actually guide you through the process. You may refer to me as the landscape designer. And what landscape in particular do I refer to? Well, the landscape of your mind as a garden. We have for this course an overarching metaphor that you will dig into, and we love the metaphor of the mind as a garden because a garden can transform itself from a neglected landscape of weeds choking the potential of beautiful flowers into a beautiful array and vibrant colors and even fragrances. Nevertheless, if we make the bridge to you, you know that working with your mind will bear beautiful results. So I will briefly pass through the summary of the course. Each module will have such a overarching metaphor. And first will be about the flowers, because flowers have a diversity of colors and, ways of showing themselves, and beauty and diversity. This is that you are all beautiful and diverse, but the meaning is to uncover your true self and purpose. And this means that you need to know yourself. So this is the first brick that will put and that will actually help grow in your garden. Then there are the weeds, which is the module 2. This is about overcoming fears and limiting beliefs. As you know, gardens have weeds that you need to actually dig deeper for in order to care for your flowers. Then there's soil. And soil for us is like the mindset. As you're taming the soil, it's about developing an entrepreneurial mindset. And this is module 3. Establishing supportive networks and communities, it's quite important. And this is module 4. We refer to this as caretakers, because having a strong network around you will help you the most in a longer journey. And last but not least, there are the seeds that you're putting. And this is about aligning personal and business goals, which is not always obvious, but it's very, very important in self-leadership. So what is our program structure? I know that gardening might not seem easy to actually attempt to make and to tame so many aspects, but let's see which are the components of this process. And we will have a self-leadership course like this one. It is recorded. You can do it in your pace. Whenever you have time, you can listen into the car and then review it. But this is a working process. So what we would advise you to do is actually, take notes, do the exercises, and act with it as a workshop. In order to better fit that, we have a working journal. So in that journal, you can jot down, reflect, answer to some questions that you've put there, and you will find some very important reflection exercises. A well-worked journal, it's actually very powerful, so that's why we're providing you with one. Then there's residential weekends. May that be physical or online. Those are powerful encounters with our trainers that will guide you through the process. And with this prerequisite and the other parts of the self course, you will actually work deeper the exercises and you will get your question and answers. Then there's a process that we like a lot, which is the coaching sessions. You'll have coaching sessions for you, and you will embark with coaches and mentors from Impact Hub that will guide you through your process of entrepreneurship. And towards the end of the program, there's also some community building, and you'll network, and you'll build also your network in the program. There are masterminds, and the masterminds, it's actually to have a cozier and more intimate kind of support from the supportive networks in the program. Now, the first actions that I will invite you to, it's exactly to start working. So at every module we'll have something to do, and this is only the introduction, the prerequisite. And in order to actually start the self-leadership course and to present yourself to the residential weekends, you will need to get started with some exercises. And as you will find those links in the platform and also in the working journal, you will have 3 main things to do. One is do your saboteur test. You've heard me talking about weeds. These saboteurs are your weeds. But you need to know them, and there's a common language to that. So take the PQ assessment that's in the link there. Then you need to know something more about your personality, and this is the MBTI test. If you have other personality tests, please bring them about and we'll work with those. So MBTI will help you to get a broader knowledge about you and get you started with that. And the third one is knowing your values. The values are the, deeper beliefs that you have, and the stronger one is like the best seeds that you have in your garden. So we need to unlock them in order to get better. That's all for me at this time, and I just want to leave you with a quote. The mind is everything, and what you think is what you become. See you in the courses and along the process. Thank you for choosing this program, and I cannot wait to meet you in any cohort that you may choose. Bye bye for now.